Good morning, everyone. Hello. It's been a while since I've connected with you guys. Hello, Julian. Good morning, everyone. I was going to jump into private calls and I was like, well, I haven't connected with people in a while, so I'm going to do this instead. You're going to find that as you increase or expand in your awareness, you're not going to be able to do as much work throughout the day. You might do 2 hours and you're good because your work is different. It's not the same work. It's not so much what you think it is. It's more to do with your internal, with your insides, with being an interior designer in here. You're internally remodeling everything in here. So a lot of your physical work with people is going to be reduced to 2 hours, maybe max 3 hours tops. But you're because your energy is being directed to different things now. It's being directed inward, and you're continuing to build these beautiful castles within you. And so you may find that, the more that you awaken or the more you increase in your awareness or you expand in your awareness, you won't be able to do 6 hours of work a day. It's not possible anymore. That's just it's not a possibility for you anymore because you're on a different operating system than you used to be. It's no longer the operating system that is focused on the external world. That completely fucked you up, by the way. Sorry, but it did. It fucked all of us up. And you're going to begin to take your power back. And when you do this and you start to uncover the mysteries of the universe and you start to discover these secrets within you, which is really just you're coming back home to yourself, then the more that you do that, the less inclined you're going to be to go out there. So your body is actually going to reject the thought of working 4 hours a day because that's what you did your whole life. So you're actually going to start moving in the opposite direction now because the old world took everything you had. And if you had kept going, you would have just been recycled and died with not much meaningfulness. You just would have been another worker doing the bidding for something that doesn't have your best interest at heart. So as you begin to awaken and you enhance or increase your awareness, it's highly improbable that you're going to continue to work as much as you do. It's just your body is going to reject it. And if your body isn't rejecting it yet, it's because you haven't unveiled or uncovered these truths yet. You just haven't, and that's okay. It doesn't make you lesser than. It doesn't make you inferior. It just is what it is. Something happens in you, like a light switch turns on in you, when you really begin to unearth these deeper truths. You'll do everything you can to oppose the world that you used to belong to. And now there's a new world that you're working with that is solely focused on what I like to call the emotional dimension, where you're focusing on the emotions, you're focusing on what you need to reposition or reorganize or remodel within yourself. And as you do that, now your physical world reflects how happy you are. It reflects how joyous you are. But it's because you're building inwardly, internally. So we are like these interior, quite literally interior designers, and we are revamping or remodeling our home because our home was so crusty and so full of termites when we were so externally focused that we have a lot of cleanup to do. Yeah? We have a lot of cleanup to do. So, and what's amazing is that the deeper you go, the more the universe wows you. The more the universe reveals these things to you and you just want to keep going deeper. And so on a deeper level, you know that you can't get too preoccupied with what's out there, because that would detract from you going internally. So the more truths you uncover within yourself, it's like following the internal breadcrumbs, but they go in the opposite. That pathway goes in the opposite direction of going out there. And because you're so intrigued and you're so passionate about uncovering these truths, you only want to go this way now. And what's amazing about the universe, because you have to keep in mind that the higher truths, they actually govern the lower truths. So more and more and more, your fear subsides because these higher truths keep providing you with more and more and more and more. And it's not always going to be in the form of money, per se. It's not always going to be in the form of money, but it's going to be in a overall spiritually wealthy. You become spiritually wealthy because you're so acutely aware of yourself and everything and how this world operates, that you can see when people haven't uncovered those secrets yet. And there's nothing you can do about that. You just observe it. But you don't miss that world anymore because it fucked you up so badly, so gravely. So anyways, I just wanted to preface with that. And that was a 5-minute chat there for you. But you really start to understand what is of the utmost priority. And time is a factor in this as well, meaning the more time you spend chasing, the less energy you're investing in yourself. This is why I'm a big proponent of, if you're going to do sessions, if you're going to do whatever in life, you better get paid for what you do, because if you value your time, then whatever you do needs to hold a similar value to where you're happy enough. So anyways, I'm going to start inviting people on, you guys. You can drop a badge if you want to connect. I'll give you priority for sure. And if you can come in with a very clear and concise and straight to the point question, I'd highly appreciate that. I'm not really into all the fluffy stuff, How are you? What's going on? Oh my God. No. Let's just get to the question. That helps me a lot more. We've abandoned the reality of pretense. We've abandoned the reality of masquerading ourselves as something that we are not. We've abandoned the reality of wearing these fake costumes. We're done with that. This is for small-minded people. We don't have time for that anymore. It's interesting. I was watching The Bachelorette the other day on Hulu. I was watching The Bachelorette, and just watching the host perform was exhausting. Just watching him perform. You guys don't pay attention to this because you're so programmed by television and you've been watching it your whole life, so you don't realize how exhausting it is to watch a host perform. It's very exhausting. It's very, it feeds into insecurity, and it feeds into putting up a facade, and it feeds into all the pretentiousness in the world. It really does. It's like creating an overlay or a filter that is standing in the way of our authentic selves. So I was watching The Bachelorette, and I'm seeing this host, great host, extremely articulate, extremely good at performing, but just watching that alone felt so artificial to me. So artificial. And it's exhausting to watch it now. I've been noticing it too with people that I know in my neighborhood and things like that. They proclaim to be these spiritual people, and they ask you how you are, and mid-sentence they cut you off, and they're talking about their next project. You're not a spiritual person if you can't even listen. You're not. I'm sorry, but there's a lot. That's why I'm repulsed by the spiritual world right now, because it's full of bullshit and all of this fluff. And the proof is in the pudding when you're standing in front of somebody and they can't even let you get past your mid-sentence, and they cut you off, and they're talking about their next book or their next endeavor. And it's like, man, I feel bad for whoever reads that book, truly. I really do. It's all lies. It's all lies. Um, yeah, Andy Cohen he's very authentic, I think, when he presents. It's not like too much of a put on. But yeah, you're gonna start seeing it more and more and more because people who have been upholding this artificialness, this fakeness, you can it's just you can cut it with a knife now. You really can. You can cut it with a knife. So that whole world is exhausting, right? And yeah, it's man, people are in for a rude awakening. I'm telling you, because it catches up to you. You just don't realize that it does. It's catching up to you every second of the day. It's just that maybe it hasn't deposited as a disease yet. As a disease is a dis-ease. It's the lack of ease, and performing like that is a lack of ease, and cutting people off when they're talking is a lack of ease, and talking about your next project that no one cares about is a lack of ease. You know, people are getting so egotistical these days with their achievements and their accomplishments, and let people tell you you're amazing. Don't talk about how amazing you are, honestly. But anyways, all right, I'm gonna start inviting people on. I'm just being honest, you guys. There's a lot. We have a lot of work to do, and I haven't been talking at length like this because it's a little disheartening to see the direction that the world is going in right now. And I don't think we're going to come back from this anytime soon. And I'm at least realistic enough to see that. And so I'm not going to be in dis-ease speaking for hours a day if people are not there right now. I'm just not going to do it. I'm realistic enough to save my energy, to preserve my energy for a brighter day. And in the meantime, I'm working on myself, and I encourage everyone to work on themselves. There shouldn't be one day that goes by where you're not reading a new book, or you're not meditating profusely, or you're not going out on your walks, or you're not thinking about life. You know, just because things haven't shown up physically for you yet, that doesn't mean you should just be sloppy and just sit around. I'm really big on like constantly upping your game, even when no one is watching you, because everyone is always watching you. Everyone is always watching you. It's just that when you think bigger, when you have a big picture in life, you can feel what you're preparing for. You feel, I'm always preparing for me. I want to be the best me for me, so I'm always preparing for me. And so there will be that opportune moment where someone says, Phil, you're about to speak to 1 million people. I'm ready. I've been ready. I've been practicing. I've been upping my game. So you shouldn't let one day go by without focusing on how you can better yourself, without focusing on how you can fine-tune yourself and get better at what you do. Always, always observe the world around you. Observe yourself. Not one day. You think that Michael Jackson and Elvis Presley and all these people, you think they were just sitting around saying nothing's happening in my life, so I'm just going to wait? No, they were constantly working on themselves for that perfect moment to happen. So you shouldn't waste 1 second of your day. I'm not saying you shouldn't rest or you shouldn't relax, but do it intentionally. Everything you do should be intentional. Everything. Man, I am just rambling today. But it's true. It's true, because people get so wrapped up in what they think is so big. Oh, I'm working on this project. It's all ego. Yeah, but I don't see you growing as a person. I don't see you. You don't even let me talk. You don't even let me get one sentence in, and you're cutting me off. So I don't believe any of the bullshit I see these days. I don't. Until I see you in person and I feel your energy, I don't believe any of it. None of it. So, yeah. Yeah. Anyways, all right. I will start inviting people on. Thank you for the badges. Thank you for the support. I do appreciate you so much. I'm turning 39 tomorrow, by the way. So I'm sure I'll post something about my birthday at some point. Okay, come in with a clear.
Hi.
Hello, what is your question today?
Okay. I'm stuck in the middle. I'm getting mixed messages from the universe.
Okay.
Okay, so I've pretty much humbly just said to the universe, all right, let's do this. I'm going to hold your hand and let you guide me. Let's go. But then I'm also getting these mixed messages like, well, when do I take action? And I think you were just talking about this just now. But I feel stuck like what at what point do I know when to make a move, or does it all just happen naturally? Does that make sense? Am I making sense?
Well, yeah, of course you're making sense. You the reason why we ask ourselves repeatedly, when should I make a move, is because we're truly afraid to die to ourselves. You have to be willing to die to yourself.
Okay.
All of those questions have to be gone because those questions have to do with the future, and the future is an illusion.
Okay.
So you have to die to, those questions cannot exist anymore.
All right, so just keep holding hands with the universe.
No, there's no
No.
hand.
No
Hand and a
hands.
hand. What are you holding on to?
Oh, good
There
point.
is there's no you, and you need to accept that.
Okay.
You're just a compilation of everything that you've been programmed to believe and to see. There
Okay.
is no actual you.
Okay.
So we don't get to have evidence of what comes after that until we go through that. So you basically have to get, in a way, washed out, washed away.
Okay.
If you're holding a hand, it means there's still a personality there.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
We want to get rid of the personality,
Yeah. Okay.
right? Because as long as there's a personality, there is distrust.
Okay.
You know what that means?
Explain a little.
As long as there's a personality holding a hand,
Yes.
there's an underlying fear.
Okay.
What are you holding hands for?
Because I feel like I need guidance.
You need something from this world, and you need to stop needing something from this world.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Does that make sense to you?
It does. I'm gonna sit on it, let it soak in. Um, but it
We
does
only
make
need
sense.
we only need guidance when we're afraid to let go. When it's time for you to let go, you're going to be the only one letting go. No one's going to hold your hand.
Okay.
When the person with an eating disorder or a body image issue is finally ready to let go, no one will do it for them. No one.
Okay.
You have to be willing to just be dropped through the chute, like the garbage chute, and die to yourself.
Okay.
So when you ask what's next for me, you're not dying to your old ways. You have to
Yeah.
die. That old way is not you. It's the artificial you.
Okay. All right.
So I hope that helps you. But
It does.
as long as we hold on to something, we are inviting more suffering.
Okay. I gotta figure out what I'm holding on to.
No, you don't.
No,
You've just got to stop thinking.
just let it go.
Stop thinking for 1 month, and until every thought that tells you, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? You're running out of money, blah, blah, blah. You have to dismiss all of those thoughts.
Okay.
Those thoughts only exist because you've been giving them food.
Yep.
So the past only exists because we keep it alive by talking about it. We give momentum to these things,
Yeah.
and we think they're still alive when in actuality they're dead, but our ego needs them to be alive in a fictitious way so that we can feel a sense of importance.
Okay.
What does that mean? What I just shared with you, what does that mean?
To me,
Yes.
that the ego doesn't want to die. That it's holding on, but really, There's no one holding on to anything. I don't know. Maybe you can explain it a little better.
So why does the past exist?
Why does the past exist?
Why do we think the past still exists?
We're attached to it.
Okay, but how is it possible that it's still existing? How does our attachment to the past manifest?
I don't know.
How can the past still exist?
Because it's all happening now.
No, I'm not talking about.
All right.
When you're truly in the now, there is no past or future.
Okay.
That's the truth.
All right.
So how can a past, why does someone still talk about their ex?
They haven't let it go.
Exactly. And they convince themselves that's still happening, right?
Yeah.
Is it really happening though?
No.
Exactly.
Okay.
Now I want you to take the billion thoughts that are attached to the past or the future. We have to die to all of that. It's a tall order.
All of it. Not
Basically,
just a little bit.
to be honest with you, there's nothing you need to actively do.
That's kind of what I was asking. I've just been stuck in this place where I get these little messages that you have to take action and
Yes.
or else nothing's ever going to happen. But I'm in a state of surrender.
Yes. So basically, every thought that creeps in is just a thought that you've had in the past
Yeah.
that you have strengthened, and it has gained momentum, meaning it knows it can get food from you, meaning it knows it can get energy from you, it knows it can grab your attention.
Yeah.
So it's that those thoughts are using you.
Okay.
They're using you up. They're wanting to take from you
Okay.
to keep you wobbly and to keep you insecure and to keep you unsteady and to keep you in a state of confusion.
Okay.
So basically, the thoughts are going to keep knocking at your door until you
Yep.
say you're not welcome here anymore. How do we no longer welcome them in?
But I don't know.
Come on, just you can't get this wrong. Just
Okay. How do we
spit
no
it out.
longer? Well, I have like an exercise that I do where I imagine that my mind is a movie theater and people come knocking and I either let them in or I don't let them in. Or I
Okay,
say, yeah.
okay, but now I'm asking you, how do they stop coming around?
Practice
Okay, but why do they keep coming around?
because I've been giving them power.
Perfect.
Yes.
Okay.
So stop giving them power.
So are they real?
No,
How come?
because it's not now.
Yes! Good job!
Thank you.
Good job!
I
Good
had good
job!
guidance.
You did it!
Yeah,
You
thank
did
you.
it! Do you see how fast we worked through that?
Yeah,
Do you see how now you're on a whole new level?
already.
Like you're on a whole other level now. Just
Thank
like
you.
that, you remembered that you are none of it. You remember that the only reason why the thoughts keep coming around is because they're a product of a story, either of the future, of the past that you've been feeding into.
Okay.
And as long as we feed into the past or the future, what happens? We are fragmented. We're splitting ourselves. And guess what? The thoughts need something from you because they need energy to feel whole, but they are not whole. The best way you can help those thoughts is say, leave me alone. I'm not real. Go find your own life. Go be
All right.
present. Stop needing things from me. You did it. I'm so proud of you right now. Like,
Thank you, Phil.
this is a victory.
Yeah.
And I'm going
Thank
to tell you something. I'm going to tell
Okay.
everyone something.
All right. What's up?
Very naturally, by becoming aware of this, the thoughts are not going to come around anymore because they're like, man, she's not going to give us food. So let's go find let's go recruit. Let's go recruit someone else to get food. Because even if we get food from her, that's true. Like, there's going to be a food shortage soon. So let's just leave her alone. Right? And then what's going to happen is this new reality that you're part of, that you paid your dues for, that you finally accepted as the truth. This new reality is going to inspire you when you least expect it, and it's going to say, now go. You won't have to think about going. It's going to say, now go.
Okay. Thank you. That
Because
answers my question.
what happens when we empty ourselves?
It feels really good.
It feels really good. And don't we give the universe a chance to actually take over us?
Yeah.
But if we're constantly holding on to the past or the future, we're blocking out the future, the universe. We're blocking out that intelligence because we're holding on rather than emptying ourselves. So your life will only get better. In the beginning, it's not going to feel that way. Because we've been addicted to these thoughts and the chemicals that we release from these thoughts.
Okay.
But now we're kind of going cold turkey on it. We're withdrawing from that reality, and now we're moving into a new reality. You got this.
Yes, I got this.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. I'm so happy right now. Thank you. That was wonderful, you guys. Good job, all of you. Thank you for the badges too. I appreciate you. And yes, I will be posting this to Vimeo. This is the one I'm posting. I'm going to post it right after this because I think there's a lot of gems here. I'm always very selective with the ones I choose because I want to make sure I don't waste you guys' time. You know, I don't want you guys to listen to something for 1 hour if there isn't really juice. I want there to be juice. So I'm gonna take someone else now. That was a masterclass. Thank you, Magic by Ira. I just invited someone on. Hi there.
Hey again. There's a lot of things going on now in a very fast way. Shit, I can feel you. You just stepped in. Okay. Sorry, I just have to take this in. Whoa. Whoa. Okay. Do you feel that? Or that's a stupid question. Of course you do. Okay. I was actually going to... Sorry.
There's another world that doesn't use words.
I feel it.
That's the world.
I feel that you already answered what I was going to ask you about.
You said there's a lot going on, and I telepathically said, are there lots of things going on?
Yes, thank you. Oh, shit. I don't have to ask you. I know.
Yeah, you do. When you said I stepped in, that's what I did. I telepathically asked you, are there really lots of things going on? And you realized none of it was you. And you realized this is it. This is the moment. This is all we get right now. We're here together now. We're not on a plane. We're not in Costa Rica. We're not in Spain. We are here. This is all there is. And everything else we think about is part of the psychosis that we have fed into and that keeps it alive. It's like those animals that just died and they keep moving but they're dead. That's the past. It's a momentum, but it's actually already dead. It doesn't exist.
Shit, I did it.
You did it.
Oh, oh, I did it. I fucking did it. Shit, I'm so happy now. You can't imagine, or yes, you can, because you've been there.
I'm glad. The thing is that we're all doing it together. Like, this is the reason why I lit up the way that I did with the other girl, is because she is me. I am you.
Yeah, I understand it. And I understand when you thanked everybody on the chat, I was like, of course, because all the energy from every person who is in here is helping this moment to be what it is.
We're unblocking we're unblocking the world so that we can receive more truth. Yes, we're unblocking. We've had all these boulders in the way, and if you have one person who's aware of this, but the 10 people that this person is walking with isn't aware of this, then how much of the universe is going to come through is only to that one person, because everyone else is burying their heads in the sand. So when we start to work collectively like this and collaboratively, then the other 10 people can open, and now more energy is able to influx.
And that's our goal,
That
to everybody to open.
that's what we're here to do, and that's what we're here to do.
Mm.
So thank you so much for connecting with me today.
Thank you.
Thank you. Take care. Bye, Ravella. Alrighty. I'm gonna invite someone else on. Thank you, guys.
Wow, thank you.
Of
Thank you
course.
so much. Okay, I'm going to jump right into it. But I just wanted to say earlier when you were talking about external versus internal,
Mm.
I had an energy reader read me, and she told me that I'm someone who doesn't like to waste my energy. I like to keep it. So that really resonated. And it's crazy because I never thought I'd be like saying that I'm nervous too, but wow, this happens to a lot of people. Okay, so my question, I've done a lot of work over the years, and I'm in a spot where I I always struggled to do it on my own, and I've gotten to a point where I'm supporting myself and I'm focusing on me, and I've disconnected from negative influences in my life. But I'm in a spot where I, like you said earlier, you don't spend so much time working or, being out there. And I feel like I am working, but it's not me. And I've experimented a lot in my life and had a lot of different careers, but I still feel like I haven't clicked into place in that aspect of my life.
Mm. You mean in terms of feeling like you're living out your purpose, or feeling like you're...
So I do feel like I'm living out my purpose in the sense that I love my life. I love me. I love my relationship with myself. Um, and I do pay attention to myself, and I do what feels right, and I'm an experiencer in life. I love to just experience everything and everyone, and I feel like I get so much out of life when I'm out just exploring and being spontaneous. Um, but a huge struggle for me was financial. But I realized that that was just family constantly putting me down, and I was stuck in that dance with them. So I broke out of that dance, but now I want to feel like my whole day to day is fluid in the way that I am with myself, but there's, you know, supporting yourself and work and things like that.
Yeah. So what is the question exactly?
How do I click into place with that? Because I feel like I'm there, but I'm not.
You don't click into it. There's nothing you can do. That we don't get to choose that. The we that we think we are has to disappear. It really does. So this is the only way to think of it like this. What if fear is the greatest gift in the world? What if fear is a notification system to alert us that we are not aligned with our highest potential? Because it's not possible to realize your highest potential if there's an ounce of fear in you. We all have fears, but the idea is that if you are afraid of losing something, it means that you're still controlling. And why do we control? We control because we have fear. So the fear is a gift, because the fear is letting us know that we haven't aligned to our higher self yet, to the higher version of who we are. The only way to realize the highest reality is to actualize the higher version of who we are. And the only way to do that is to release all fear. When you have completely surrendered your fear, that's when you will know, right? And by fear, I mean, whatever needs to happen, I trust it's for my highest good. Until you fully surrender the fear, then there will be things you have to look at in here that are preventing you from becoming that higher version of yourself. So for you, it might look like, I love being in flow every day. I love going about my day. But the but is what you need to look at, because the but is what contains the fear. So the fear is a gift because it's notifying you that you still contain fear and that there's deeper work to do, which means that you have to allow yourself to disappear.
That's the ultimate fear.
That's what I mean. That's why very few people in this lifetime will ever amount to their highest potential. Even us speaking out of turn or interrupting somebody when they talk, you don't think that comes from fear? Of course it comes from fear. It comes from fear of not being accepted, from fear of being disapproved of. It's all control. So even when we speak out of turn, we're trying to control something. Any control is a derivative of fear. Any fear is preventing us from aligning to the higher version of who we are.
Okay, but I have a question in response to that, because there's been moments where I felt that fear and I just don't do anything. But when I don't do anything, I get negative feedback. And I'm specifically thinking about work. It's like people want the quick response. They want me to react. They want that. And
there are no people. There are no people. There is only you. To say there are other people is to live in separation. There is only one of all of us. We all constitute the whole. There are no people giving you negative feedback. There are only people reflecting back to you that you have a fear of being judged. So you have to work on releasing that fear so that you can become yourself. Did you catch that?
I did, but I'm noticing my mind responding, and it's saying...
That's okay. Listen.
Yeah.
What's going on inside is a garden, and there are weeds within that garden. The weeds are the fear. As long as you're seeing other people, you're in a state of separation. An example is, I wonder if the guy likes me. That's disempowerment. When you are one with yourself, you know if something is going to work out or if it's not, because you're yourself with everybody, and you will just ask the guy, do you like me? I like you. So my point is, people are still operating within a state of separation because you're still perceiving that there are others. Those others are a gift because they are the personification of the fear that you hold inside. Remember, I said fear is a gift, which means that the people who judge you are a gift because they represent the fear that you hold inside. You need those people out there to point you inside so that you can remove the weeds in the garden.
Okay, but if they're pointing me inside, what does that mean?
It means that nothing outside exists. Your internal battle is the only thing that's real, which, by the way, isn't even real. It's just pointing you to the real. Your internal battle is real, meaning it's happening inside, but it's not even real. It's pointing you to the real one that is you. It is pointing you to the real one that is you. You cannot get rid of the battle or end the battle by going out there and making money. That's not possible. It's just not, because it's happening inside. It happens to be reflected outside, but is it happening inside or outside? 100% of the time it's happening inside. No exception. 100% of the time when you point the finger at somebody, it's not true. 100% of the time when you blame other people or you point the finger at the spiritual teachers or whoever, it's not true. It's a projection. Because we're not wanting to look in here. There's a fear that causes us to project onto these people. We're not willing to get vulnerable enough to admit that we're afraid. And if we're not willing to get vulnerable enough to admit that we're afraid, we will never, ever heal.
So it's because we haven't admitted that we're afraid. We haven't met the fear. We haven't met the fear.
Yes, the fear has been hiding in you. It's been nesting in you. But what most people want to do is, because they don't want to look there, then they control their wife or their husband, or they say that this person is a cult leader or that person is a cult leader. It's all a massive projection. Massive. Because no one is separate from who we are. Everyone is simply playing a role to help you come back to yourself. Everyone, even the person that you can't stand, is your greatest gift. Because without that person, you wouldn't have an accurate mirror. Does that help?
Yes.
There's nothing to hold on to. It's just about remembering that we are none of it and allowing what's happening to you or what's not happening to you to happen. You have to feel like you're drowning in an ocean that doesn't have water. That's what it feels like. When you die to yourself, it feels like you are drowning for months. I'm not even talking hours. I'm talking months. And there's an inner voice that tells you, that whispers to you, don't pick up your fucking phone. Drown. Fucking drown. Because if you pick up that phone, guess what's going to happen? You just pop back out into the old world that you just left. And then you're going to have to do it all over again.
Do I have to drown myself?
You have to drown in an ocean that doesn't have water. meaning it's an illusion. You're only coming back home. You're coming back home. Why have we resisted home so much? I'm asking you.
Me personally?
Why we? Why have
Oh,
we fought the process of going back home so much?
well, it's terrifying, but it shouldn't be because isn't it home?
It's home. So why have we resisted it? It's because this world is upside down and it fucked us up. Calling a spade a spade. Your parents messed you up. Everything messed you up. Everything messed you up. The whole thing was inverted. It was flipped upside down, and we went that direction when we should have been going the other direction. But it's okay, because that direction serves us. Going the wrong direction serves you because you eventually wake up to the fact that you're going the wrong direction. So the fear is the wrong direction, but equally the fear is a gift because it's redirecting us in the right direction. It's all a gift. It's all God. I call it God and I call it shadow God. God needs to express itself and animate itself in different ways, through different plants, through different people, through different comments, through different remarks. God needs to show up as darkness when you're not listening, and God will show up as love when you're listening. It's God. It's all God. It's God and shadow God. It's God and shadow God. We're holding on to shadow God because we're afraid of meeting God in its purest form. Shadow God is not God's purest form. Shadow God is the God that's trying to wake us the fuck up. It's God wearing a costume. Shadow God will keep happening until we're no longer afraid of meeting God and losing it all. This whole reality was designed for us to lose it all. Because why would you want something that's toxic? Why would you want something that messed you up? Why would you want something that's corrupt? Why?
yeah,
Right?
yeah,
Don't you want ease? Don't you want to wake up and do what you want to do?
yeah.
Don't you want to be able to just be there for people? And if you happen to make money doing that, then you're not really working? You got this. Thank you for connecting with me today.
Thank you.
There's nothing left to hold on to. Nothing. Because you're not really losing anything. You're losing a lie. You're seeing the lie. And you're saying, I'm no longer shaking hands with you, lie. Because I know who and what I am. And I'm not a slave. I am unlimited because I come from God. And I refuse to partake in your limitations and in your threats and in the stupid options you're offering me. Keep them. Go back to your suffering world. Go back. I don't want anything from you. The fact that you're even knocking at my door tells me you haven't found God. Find God and you'll never knock on anyone's door again. You'll earnestly accept death when it arrives because you already know that death is an illusion. You're already eternal.
Every fear is a fear of death.
No.
No? Okay.
No. It's not. Some people are not afraid to die, but they're afraid of losing their home. How do you explain that? It's fear, and it's fear, and that's all it is. It doesn't have to be attached to a story. It doesn't have to be linked to death. It doesn't have to be linked to a home. It is fear. We came to this planet to clear the fear once and for all. That's it. Because the problem with saying everything is a fear of death is now you've convinced yourself you don't have fear, and the fear is nesting in you, and it found a new secret hiding place in your internal home. Don't let fear hide in you. We know nothing. It's better this way. Let God show you the way. And stop making deals with the enemy, which isn't really an enemy. It's shadow God, pretending to be something malevolent when it's actually God saying, stop shaking hands with me. It's shadow God saying, stop shaking hands with me. Go to the purity of the light that you are. I love you, and I'm sending you so much light, so many blessings. Thank you for connecting with me today.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Take care.
Love you too. Thanks.
Thank you, my friends. This was fun, and I'm sure I will speak with you guys again. Thank you for everything, and yes, I'll have this posted to Vimeo, and I'll speak to you soon. Take care.